What up, y'all? Real quick, y'all. I want y'all to watch this couple of Greg Maddux highlights with me because I'm gonna break this down real quick about this guy. This is a guy I told you guys. I said this guy. I said there's something about this guy that scares me. Something about Greg Maddux, man, is off. Nobody throws like him. There's not one pitcher that I can say that guy. He reminds me of Greg Maddux. Not one. Not one. Okay. Talking about the pitching style. Now, I cannot, it's not one out there that threw like this guy. And I'm trying to figure out why that is. But one thing I do know about him is that he worked extremely hard in his craft. You know, looking at the documentary of, him coming up through the minor leagues, coming from Las Vegas, who he was as that little scrawny 5'11" kid that nobody really, thought was going to be much. But, I mean, he really worked hard to perfect his craft. You could just tell. But no, I cannot. There's not one pitcher that I can say that guy reminds me of Greg Maddux. And even if a pitcher does, like let's say a pitcher throws a pitch or two that reminds me of Greg Maddux, they can't keep it consistent for some reason. I don't know why that is. We're talking about like I was looking at a documentary earlier, and it was saying that he's the only pitcher where it looks like a ball from 5 feet away from the plate and then comes into the plate as a strike. They said that he's the only pitcher that's ever accomplished something like that. I don't know how they come up with those dimensions. They say when he throws his pitches and the ball is 5 feet from the plate, it looks like it's going to be a ball and it ends up a strike. Nobody can emulate that. That is amazing. But let's look at this thing. Let's look at this, what he did against Tony Gwynn and Bonds. And I got a few words to say about that, all right? All right, let's check this first one out here. This is Tony Gwynn versus Greg Maddux. Was Tony Gwynn a better hitter than Bonds? Batting average-wise, yeah, he was. Batting average, he was. So I guess that means, yeah, he was a better hitter than Bonds. So let's look at this.
Gwynn hitting at 324, 2 on and 1 out. Takes the first pitch, strike on the outside corner. Strike count. Doesn't chase, 1-1. How good is he as a hitter? Against 25 Cy Young winners, his career batting average is 341. Lifetime 340, so he's very consistent. Wow.
That is nasty. That is straight. Man, that was filthy, that pitch he just threw. Look at it. Let's look at that again. Just filthy. Just filthy.
His career batting average is 341. Lifetime 340, so he's very consistent. Wow.
Hold on, man. That ball just kind of disappears. It's ridiculous.
5 Cy Young winners. His career batting average is 341. Lifetime 340, so he's
Oh my God.
wow.
That is filthy.
Swung
Y'all
on
see
it.
that pitch? Now he did something backwards right here. The pitch, he did it backwards. He had to do it backwards against Gwynn. What am I talking about? The ball looked like it was a strike. The ball looked like it was a strike. Okay? The ball looked like it was a strike, and it went as a ball. So not only could he make a pitch 5 feet away from the plate on the way to the plate look like a ball that the pitcher don't swing at and end up a strike, he can make the pitch look like a strike that ends up a ball. That's filthy. That is filthy. That's not fair. You know what I mean? Let's look at that pitch one more time.
Doesn't chase, 1-1.
I'm telling you, man, that is nasty.
How good is he as a hitter? Against 25 Cy Young winners, his career batting average is 341. Lifetime 340, so he's
Oh my God.
wow.
Oh my God.
Swung.
Just filthy. Like, that's just filthy, man. Hold on. We're gonna watch one more, y'all. Give me 1 second here.
Maybe not this time. That's deep to right center field. That's gone, and the Giants lead it 1-0.
He was like the easiest guy in the world to pitch to because it would matter. You just walk him. I mean, he was a guy. I mean, he was like he was so much better than all the other hitters in the game. That you got to pick your fights. You know, you got to get 27 outs. You got to know where they are. You know, they're not going to be with him. You go pick on the other 8 guys and see if you can't, kind of find them that way.
And that home run he hit right there is filthy on Bond's part, because I mean that ball is so high and he still hit that thing out the park. It's just crazy.
Maybe not this time.
Now, the first ball, that first one that Maddux threw was a high fastball. It's kind of weird because I don't think I've ever seen a baseball player hit a ball out the park that's that high. Hold on, y'all. I mean, that's just crazy. But this one right here, y'all, I'm going to say something about this one right here.
Maybe not this.
Remember, they said that Maddux would give up home runs to hitters just to get them later in the playoffs. And see, that was the bad thing about Bonds being a home run hitter. It was that it's almost like they used that against him, because you have to think about this. You know, why if Bonds was this good, you get some runners on the plate, Barry Bonds comes up, you're either gonna walk him or he's gonna hit a home run, right? So if he's that good of a hitter, it's like, well, why couldn't they win a World Series? It's kind of like you can use it against a hitter. If he's that good of a hitter, you can use that against him, especially when you got a good pitcher on the mound. So if Maddux would give up home runs to certain individuals, I don't see why, would he not give a home run up to Bonds? As y'all heard when he hit the home run, he said Giants up 1-0. That it didn't matter. I mean, that's probably a game that the Giants lost. You keep seeing all these highlights of Bonds hitting these home runs, but the Giants ain't winning no World Series. That should tell you something about the game of baseball. You know what I mean? Just like Maddux said, it's other out. You choose your battles. Ain't that the truth? You choose your battles. But yeah, I would say it looked like that second pitch to Bonds, to me, he gave up the home run on purpose. Because they said Bonds would let people hit home runs just to shut them down later in the playoffs. Because I don't know what's the history matchup against Bonds and Maddux, but it wasn't like Barry Bonds will always hit home runs against him. But he gave him, as you see, Maddux gave him his respect. Like, he's basically the best hitter in the game. But it just goes to show you, just because you're the best hitter in the game, don't mean you're going to win it all. You really got, like he said, you got to choose your battles. But yeah, I mean, it was just filthy. It was just filthy what he would do. And I guess in certain situations, you would have to give up if Bonds is that good of a hitter, and you got a guy like Maddux out there, okay. I don't think Maddux walked Bonds though. Like, he joked about that. I don't know how many times Maddux let Bonds walk, but it couldn't have been that many times. Because if you play in a game of chess, right, against Bonds, okay, so you Maddux, if you walk him, you got to know that you're gonna get the next guy out. But if the next guy coming up is a 300 hitter, then I can see a situation where Maddux just, gives up the home run and takes his chances with the 300, with the 300 hitter. Him still being a good pitcher. It's something to think about, man. But that second pitch, it looks like he gave that up to Bonds. Like, he just gave it to him. Like, just take it, because I'm fit to get the next guy out. It doesn't matter. Then, of course, you got to factor in the fact that he could hit into a double play, because Bonds is not that fast. The majority of the story was that Maddux was truly masterful out there on the mound. Masterful. That's the point I want to make. But yeah, his stuff was filthy. There'll never be another Greg Maddux. That's for sure.